All right, are you starting?
Yep.
All right. So, hi, welcome to another GenCon edition of Hey, My Friend Made a Thing. And
Nice.
yeah. And the friend who made a thing that we're talking to today is Peter Adkinson.
Hi.
Who's making a really cool setting series thing called Chaldea.
Right.
And
Yes.
I heard about it the other night, and I'm so excited.
Oh,
for it.
thank you. Thank you.
So let's talk about Chaldea. Like, when did this start? Is this something that's like been in your head for 20 years?
So it's a fantasy story
Uh-huh.
we will tell primarily on YouTube through film and comic book art.
Ooh.
So it's not a game, although there might be game products someday. But it's a story. Like Lord of the Rings is a story.
Oh, that's so cool.
Of course, we don't have that kind of budget, so it's mainly told through comic book art. And it's ultimately is based on a world I created for fantasy role playing that I started working on back in 1981.
Oh, wow.
And I've been working on ever since. So that's like 38 years, something like
I
that.
don't know if I was born then. I don't think I was born then. Wait, your game is older than me?
Yeah. So it's yeah. It might be a little long in the tooth, but yeah,
That doesn't mean it's no good.
Well, it is a bit classical in a lot of ways. I mean, it does sort of reflect, the types of fantasy that we played back in those days. It's elves and dwarves and dragons and orcs and giants. It's very much sort of classical, traditional D&D types of armies, but with a real edgy feel to it. We have some mature content just from violence and stuff. So. That's what I'm working on.
What are your favorite elements of the story? Like, what do you think, in your own words, the story is about at its core?
Right. So, story, of course, is the most important thing. The fact that something is fantasy, I think of that. It's fun, we like fantasy, but at the end of the day, good stories are kind of universal, and the fantasy is like it's just kind of like a flavoring, if you will, right? So, so the story is set in the wake of God.
Okay, welcome back.
Welcome back.
So we were talking about how it's a classical fantasy story.
Yeah. So and it's so there is a world empire ruled by a democratic set. This guy is assassinated, and then so that's sort of the campaign kicker. Like all of a sudden, the emperor of the world's dead.
That's quite a start.
And so all throughout the world are there's like what's going to happen now. And so there's a lot of upheaval. There's the empire effectively will start to crumble.
And everybody's freaking out.
Yeah, everybody's freaking out. So it's the loss of law and order is the thing. What happens when the God Emperor dies?
What happens when there used to be very tight control, and suddenly that control disappears and
exactly.
chaos.
And then of course how it's a big mystery as to how the Emperor died.
So we don't know.
So we don't know. Everybody knows he's dead. But
we know there's someone willing. Able to kill a god just running around at large.
Right. So it'll be a matter of so the part of the story will be one of the characters in there. Her point of view is I'm going to figure out who did this, right, and figure out how that happened. So there is that sort of mystery, and then and it goes from there.
That is really, really cool. Now, the other night when we were talking, we shared a love of history.
Yes.
And I said, are there Scythians in your world? And I was very disappointed to find out there are not. But
I did say there was Mycenaeans.
There's Mycenaeans, and you said there were Phoenicians,
and
which I'm also into.
Yes.
So we have a shared love of history. Let's talk about that. How did history inspire you? Because I know that you're putting a lot of ancient cultures into the story.
What I did was I think it's very difficult to really design completely unique cultures, and certainly difficult to do that a bunch of times. So what I did is for the human cultures in Chaldea, each culture I picked some real world place and time, and I happen to have a lot of a particularly large number of Middle Eastern cultures, and that's an area of interest of mine. So I have something inspired by Babylonians, something inspired by Hittites, a kingdom inspired by pre-Islamic Arab culture, and then also like German and Phoenicians, and that is Middle Eastern, but so Egypt.
There were just so many amazing, rich, cosmopolitan civilizations in the Middle East and in Northern Africa.